7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's now time for the Pony Cake Sports Podcast with your hosts, Josh Stevens, Tim Thompson, and Tom Schultz. Woo!
We are back for another episode of Pony Cake Sports. I am your host once again, Tim Thompson, here with my friend and yours, even though he may try to deny that we are buddies, Tom Schultz. Tom, how are you?
Tim, I'm doing great. You know, I feel like our friendship has grown a lot this week. You know, Josh is not here trying to get in between us and get us to be at each other's throats all week. So it kind of feels good. I feel like there's something good going, something good brewing between us right now.
Well, it's because we've had the ability to go upstairs while Josh is not around the Pony Cake Sports Studios, steal some of his stuff, his food, his guns, his motorcycle. Stole a couple of pairs of his wife's underwear, but that's neither here nor there. We'll leave that until he finally gets back sometime from now. We don't know exactly when that'll be. Like we said, he was at the San Francisco camp. He said he was going to travel around. I don't know if he's going to L.A. I don't know if he's going to go to Vegas thinking that the Raiders are already there. I don't know what he's doing, but it might be a few weeks before Joshua gets back. Best of luck in his travels. But so far this week, we have talked about, with Josh, we did a little camp news, just contracts, injuries, and so on. Hot stories, hot topics. Last episode was a running back depth chart, trying to figure out who we would take. This week is even more fantasy focused than the previous two, or this episode, I should say. We're going to go round by round, going to squeeze in as many as we possibly can, and we're labeling this the Don't Touch Me week, a.k.a. things my wife says to me, a.k.a. the Jerry Sandusky week. We're going with the guys who are being drafted at their ADP right now, and we are going to stay away from. We don't want to touch them, and at least not at that spot. Anything to add?
You're probably going to hate my round one pick, Tim.
That's all right. The love was already here. I don't mind now hating what you may bring. I want to start by saying make sure you give us a follow on Facebook if you haven't already. Listen, we've given away a signed Le'Veon Bell jersey through that Facebook at Pony Cake Sports. Make sure to follow Josh and follow his travels at Pony Cake Sports. Follow Tom at Pony_Keg_Tom. All of his Andrew Luck things, all of his football thoughts, all of his Union thoughts. Tom loves his Union, so if you don't like the Union, then don't follow him. And as always, you can follow me and my dumbass thoughts, Fight Talk, at Fight Talk Tim, and make sure to give our buddies over at Rogue Energy a follow. I have not tasted it yet because Tom and Josh will not give me any, but apparently it's delicious. So Rogue Energy, get you some of that. It's better than Ritalin. That's what I hear.
TheRogueEnergy.com. When you're checking out, use promo code PKS, and you will get 10% off your order. It comes out to about $1 per serving. If you're a guy who drinks Monster, who drinks Rockstar, you're saving a bunch of money. This one little canister of Rogue Energy is cheaper than getting like 10 Monsters. It'll last you a whole month. You'll be good to go if you're a gamer. If you just like watching football like we do.
We've sold out enough, Tom. We've sold out enough. Our boys, Rogue Energy, give them a follow. They're good people, at least according to Tom and Josh.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, let's move on to the Don't Touch Me episode, a.k.a. Jerry Sandusky, round one. Listen, this ADP right now, and as always, we're using fantasyfootballcalculator.com. ADPs right now: Todd Gurley, Lev Bell, Zeke Elliott, David Johnson, Antonio Brown, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, Melvin Gordon, Odell Beckham Jr., Kareem Hunt, and Leonard Fournette. Tom, I already know where you're going, but who are you saying, hey, bro, don't touch me?
Le'Veon Bell.
Wow, not who I thought you were going with.
In a lot of cases, he's going number one off the board. And I think that's absolutely crazy right now. Look, he's out there smacking strippers' asses instead of training, instead of putting the work with his teammates. And last year we saw his yards per carry go down to a pedestrian 4.0. His offensive line has already been nicked up in this preseason. Ramon Foster starting right guard. left guard or right guard, one of them. He's already going to be missing a significant amount of time. I'm worried about Lev Bell. I think there's potential that he has a holdout into the regular season. I think it's about time that the lucky magic number 375, if you don't know what that is, when running backs hit that 375 total touches in a year, they tend to get injured the next year. And Lev Bell has done it in back-to-back years. I think there's a good potential that he gets hurt. I will not be taking him in the top 4 picks in a draft this year.
I think he's a little bit crazy. I just think he means too much to that team. And beyond that, he still has something to prove. He still has that attitude that, like you mentioned, looking through that stripper's booty like a peephole. I get it. I hope he doesn't get pink eye. That'd be detrimental to his future contract. But right now, I would still be taking a Le'Veon Bell at maybe not 1-2, but at 1-4. I mean, he's still one of the first running backs off the board, in my opinion. My guy is someone that I vouched for at length, ad nauseum, someone that I've continued to love on, and one of the few times I hit the nail on the head last year. Alvin Kamara, going 1-6 right now. There's tends to be that sophomore slump. This type of thing always happens, but beyond that, the Mark Ingram injury scares me. Not injury, the PED issue. He's out for the first 4 games as well, correct?
Yep.
I just don't see how that doesn't scare you. He's the lone guy, and Drew Brees is Drew Brees. He had a big drop in pass attempts last year. I don't know what Alvin Kamara is going to bring to the table. He may come out. He may still blow up. He may be the guy that I said he was last year. But at this point in the season, this early, I want him to show me something. I am not taking him at 1-6. A Saquon Barkley, I would take before him. A Melvin Gordon, I would take before him. A lot of guys, even one of the big-name wide receivers, I would be taking before Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Sean Payton has come out and said that he is not going to be giving Alvin Kamara a lot of more touches than last year. He never had over 12 rushing attempts in a game. I see that to continue. I think there's really never been a running back who's been that efficient and that successful on such limited amount of touches. I don't see Alvin Kamara repeating it again this season. So I do agree with you, Tim. I think he is a first round running back in PPR, but I don't think he should be going at 1.06.
I could not agree more. Let's move on to the second round here in the Don't Touch Me episode, aka things that my wife says to me. We're going to move on here. Picks 13 through 24. Dalvin Cook, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen, Devonta Freeman, Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, A.J. Green, Jerick McKinnon, Jordan Howard, Rob Gronkowski, and Michael Evans. Tom, who you telling? Don't touch me.
I actually really like this round. I like it overall more than round 1, but I'm going to go with Mr. Rob Gronkowski. Him going in the second round, I do get it. But I'm more worried about his health more than any other player in this round. I'm worried about him being able to produce a full season. He's missed a lot of games. The injuries are piling up. He's had issues with Bill Belichick. We'll see what he brings to the table, but I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it in the second round taking a player like Rob Gronkowski. If it's early, middle of the third round, I would take him, but he is not going there in most drafts. So in probably 99% of the drafts I do this year, I will not be getting Rob Gronkowski.
Josh, Josh. Oh, man.
Whoa,
sorry. Josh
whoa,
on
Mike.
the brain. Josh isn't here, so I got him on the brain. I'm sorry, but I am going to go with someone who is in a totally new offense, who complained and was different all season long, and he's a part of my team. Jordan Howard. I'm not taking Jordan Howard in the second round. There's questions with a lot of the guys. You could question A.J. Green. You could question even Devonta Freeman. All these guys have questions. But if I'm at the end of the second round, I like the upside more through a Joe Mixon than I do a Jordan Howard. I just feel like you're setting yourself up to fail there a little bit with someone who is in a system that doesn't fit how he plays. I just don't know how he fits in, and I feel like this is going to be an interesting year. He doesn't catch the ball well out of the backfield. I'm not a big fan of Jordan Howard.
I disagree with you on that, Tim. I do like Jordan Howard. I think running in the shotgun, like we kind of brought up last week, a lot of people think that's negative, and it's kind of been and Jordan Howard hasn't been successful doing that, but it's quite the contrary. He's over 6 yards per carry running out of the shotgun. That's what Matt Nagy is going to be running a lot of. I think this offense will be more up-tempo. They're going to score more points. I do like Jordan Howard in the second round.
I hope I'm wrong. I truly do hope that I'm wrong.
I hope you're right.
I'm sure you do. Let's move on here. Picks, what's that, 25 through 36. Joe Mixon, Doug Baldwin, Eugene Hilton, Shady McCoy, Adam Thielen, Travis Kelce, Darius Geis, Tyreek Hill, Larry Fitzgerald, Stephon Diggs, Derrick Henry, and Double-A, Aaron Rodgers.
For me, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I do like Aaron Rodgers. I think he is my QB1, and it's really not close for me. But I cannot justify taking a quarterback in the third round of any type of format, even if this was a 6-point passing touchdown league. Especially in a PPR league, you should not be taking a quarterback within the first 5 or 6 rounds. Taking one in the third, I think that you're just asking for your draft to be unsuccessful. You're asking for fantasy suicide. I do not want Aaron Rodgers on any one of my teams if I have to take him in the third round.
I could not agree with you more, but I feel like there's a more obvious pick here.
Derrick Henry?
3-4. Shady McCoy.
Yep.
Way too early. There's the legal issues, which, listen, he can be completely innocent. Mm-hmm. Even if he is completely innocent and there's no issues and he's starting week 1.
Zeke was innocent.
Well, but he was guilty. He whipped out a titty. I mean,
that's not what he got suspended for.
He did it. Oh, no, he got suspended for jumping in a pot and stealing from the poor. But nevertheless, Tom, listen, Shady McCoy, if he's innocent, he's at that number. He's at that number age-wise. He's been rode hard and put away wet. And he's on a terrible, terrible football team with no weapons, with no quarterback. He's the only one there of any talent. And I don't feel guilty saying that. He could be the best. He's 30 now or 31?
30.
He is the most talented player on that team at 30. He might still talent-wise be the third round, fourth player to take. But it's too bad of a football team. I don't think that he's going to be able to stay healthy all year. I know I'm sounding reminiscent of Tim 2017, but what right now tells you that Shady McCoy is going to go out there and be a running back 1? I just can't do it. Nope. You know I'm not the biggest Darius Geis fan. I will be taking Darius Geis before LaShawn McCoy every single time.
You should be.
I'm glad we agree. Take that, Josh.
It's weird.
It is. It is weird. Let's move on here to round number 4. We're going to go with Amari Cooper, Alex Collins, Zach Ertz, Jay Ajayi, Demaryius Thomas, Josh Gordon, Kenyon Drake, Juju Smith-Schuster, Golden Tate, Allen Robinson, Rashad Penny, Deshaun Watson, and Brandon Cooks.
There's a couple guys in this group that I really despise, but I'm going to go with Mr. Kenyon Drake. We kind of talked about him earlier in this week.
Wow.
I want nothing to do with Kenyon Drake this year. I'm worried about Frank Gore. I'm worried about Kalen Ballage. I don't think he has the ability. I don't think he's got the body type. I don't think Adam Gase wants him to be a true bell cow running back. There's a lot better options out there. There's rookie running backs that I would much rather have than Kenyon Drake. Rookie running backs that get drafted in the 5th, 6th round that I feel more comfortable with than Kenyon Drake. He will not be on one of my fantasy football teams this year.
We just went from let's go do karate in the garage, best friends, to did you put your balls on my drum set? Like, that's where we just went. I am truly offended. I don't like that whatsoever because there's one huge outlier here, especially for the position. How are you still taking Josh Gordon
I don't want him either.
At 4-5?
No.
There's no way. There is no. We all love Josh Gordon. I'm actually proud of him for taking the proper steps and saying, hey, I'm not mentally okay. I need to step aside and figure my shit out. As a human being, props to you. Mm-hmm. As a fantasy football owner, if you take him at 4-5, congratulations on last place.
Nuts.
You are an absolute moron. And if you're going to tell me that you would take Josh Gordon at 4.5 before you would take Kenyon Drake at 4.6, you're a liar.
I don't want either of them.
You're a liar.
I don't like Juju Smith at 407.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of this now going forward.
Yeah.
We're starting to get into the 5th round.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of questions
I like
there.
Deshaun Watson at 410.
Listen, there's debate on taking Alex Collins at 4.2. Jay Ajayi was much better than people give him credit for after getting to Philadelphia. Interested to see how that all plays in now with a full season in front of him. There's a lot of questions there. But right now, just strictly based on question marks, there is no way you are drafting Josh Gordon before the 6th or 7th round, even if you're taking him on upside.
Tim, can I be honest with you?
You want to piss me off, didn't you?
No. I read your mind. I knew you wanted to go with Josh Gordon. That's why I didn't pick him.
No, you just did because you know I was going Penny. if I ended up going there. Let's move on to the 5th round and the Don't Touch Me, a.k.a. Jerry Sandusky. 5-1, Lamar Miller, Sony Michel, Alshon Jeffrey, Mark Ingram, Jimmy Graham, Jarvis Landry, Cadillac, Royce Freeman, Ronald Jones, Chris Hogan, Deion Lewis, Marvin Jones, and Russell Wilson, rounding out the round at 5-12.
I really like the 5th round on based on ADP. There's really not a lot of guys that are really. There's no sore thumbs out there that just really saying pick me right now. But I'm gonna go with Mr. Jimmy Graham. Last year, he's been a somewhat reliable tight end. His yardage has been way down, but he did score a bunch of touchdowns with the Seattle Seahawks last year. And he's going to another great quarterback in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. When's the last time the Green Bay Packers have had a reliable top 5 or top 6 fantasy tight end? I really don't remember, Tim. It doesn't happen often. They haven't really been successful in that offense, and I am not relying, and I don't plan to rely on Jimmy Graham this year. And taking him in the 5th round it's too early for me.
I couldn't agree more, especially with that position. There's a huge gap normally between first, second, third, fourth tight ends, and then everyone else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that'll be there as well. It's all listen. If Aaron Rodgers falls in love with him, he could have 10 touchdowns. It's a huge if, though. To your point, it just hasn't been in that system for a very, very long time. I will go elsewhere. I'm going to go with Deion Lewis. I don't think that Deion Lewis at 5'11", I think that there's question marks there. I think there's a lot of question marks there. Derrick Henry could very well just take over. I know you're not high on Derrick Henry, but if Derrick Henry does what the Titans right now are lining him up to do, Deion Lewis could just be a guy. He might still get a little bit here and there, not saying he's going to be bad, but the other ones on there would be is Royce Freeman, and Chris Hogan's only there because Julian Edelman's suspension. There's a good chance that Hogan could be, man, and beyond that, the other guy that I was going to throw under the bus was Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram could come back into a situation where he may not be needed.
Yeah.
It's not probable, but it's possible. Let's move on here. We got maybe a good 10 minutes left, so we could knock out a few more rounds here in the Don't Touch Me round. Round number 6, and I see the way, so 5-12 was tied with Russell Wilson and the guy I'm going to start here at 6-1. Greg Olsen, Corey Davis, Tom Brady, Michael Crabtree, Tariq Cohen, Evan Ingram, Sammy Watkins, Julian Edelman, Tevin Coleman, Kerryon Johnson, Will Fuller, and Carson Wentz.
By this point in the draft, and I think it's especially important this year, you got to hit it running back early. You got to hit it often and get those stud guys you can rely on. There's absolutely no way I will be investing a 6th-round pick into Tariq Cohen. For me, I think Jordan Howard's the clear-cut bell cow in Chicago. I think Cohen's going to get work. There's potential 50 to 70 receptions, which is productive and extremely valuable in fantasy football. But at this point, I'm not going to be taking my possibly, most likely RB4 at this point, and Tariq Cohen, spending a 6th-round pick on him. I think it's a waste, and I don't think he's worth it. I'd much rather have a Duke Johnson much later in the 8th or 9th round. I do not understand why Cohen's going in the 6th, just for being a passing down specialist running back.
I wouldn't be either, but the upside is at least there. If you're wide receiver heavy, and listen, we're in the 6th round now. Maybe Tariq Cohen is your flex guy, and what that style, he might have some value there. With that said, I'm gonna do a duel. I'm gonna do a tie because I hate both these guys equally. I don't understand 6-12. Will Fuller and Carson Wentz are tied there. Number one, Will Fuller, his entire NFL career has been a drop machine. And Deshaun Watson proved that when he's there, he's looking for DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins was back in full throttle while he was there. Will Fuller is going to get you the random, big touchdowns. But are you okay with having those boomer bust weeks? The 1 point or 15 points. I'm not in the 6th round. Absolutely not. And also Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had a fantastic season last year, but he is coming off of an injury, and you and Josh will not admit that it's a thing. It is not certain yet. They're saying he is. It is not for certain yet that Carson Wentz will be starting week 1 of the NFL season. It is very similar right now to the way Andrew Luck was being talked about last year. Not a similar injury. It's not his arm. I get that. But it's not for certain. He wasn't put on the pup to start it. I get that's a great thing. You very well could start week 1. But it's still in the back of my mind right now, before any preseason games were played, that Nick Foles won the Eagles the Super Bowl last year. He can run that offense. He can be very successful. If Carson Wentz doesn't start the season and 3 or 4 games go by and Nick Foles is rolling, I would not be surprised to see Carson Wentz sit. This is a what have you done for me lately league. They're not overpaying Wentz. He's for the future. Doesn't mean that they're not going to ride the hot hand now. Maybe the preseason ends and things have changed. But right now, before any preseason games were played, there's no way in hell, especially for that position in fantasy football, that I'm taking a questionable quarterback at 6-12. Not going to happen. Don't touch me, Carson Wentz, you pervert. Move on to the 7th round, and start in the 7th round. A couple of uglies here, if you would. Kyle Rudolph, Marlon Mack, Drew.
I like both of them.
Oh, I like them. Just interesting positions and names. Drew Brees, Pierre Garçon, Delaney Walker, Rex Burkhead, Marshawn Lynch, Cam Newton, Emmanuel Sanders, Jamison Crowder, Randy Cobb, Chris Thompson, Carlos Hyde, and I'll leave it at that.
I think you're going to hate my choice, Tim.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Chris Thompson. Like, he was a PPR monster last season. Began the year as one of the hottest running backs in the NFL. Got hurt. Broke his fibula, I believe. And he came out, it was recently this week, and said that he's not going to be 100% healthy till November.
Is there anything dumber a player could just come out and say? Like, why would you say that?
Exactly.
Why would you do that?
That's why I don't know if he's going to start the season on the PUP list.
He must be a fantasy football player. He's letting his homies know, hey, bros,
Yeah, don't draft me.
Don't draft me.
So
I know we went to high school together.
Saying you have to take him in the 7th round, and he's just blatantly coming out and saying he's not going to be right till week 8 or 9. I'm not touching you right there. Absolutely no way. I like his potential. I like what he can do on the football field, but I think this might be a wasted year for Chris Thompson.
I don't hate that pick at all. I do want to say, back to my kind of knock on Carson Wentz, this is even more of the proof. The very next round, if you wanted a quarterback so badly, you could get a Drew Brees or a Cam Newton, who I am equally, if not more, willing to be reliable or relied on, those two quarterbacks, than a Carson Wentz coming off an injury. But the person I'm going to go to is a Rex Burkhead. We mentioned their backfield. We talked about it in our last episode, the running back depth chart. I just don't see how you have any faith in him whatsoever. Everything that he does, Sony Michel does better. And there's no way in hell at 7-4 I am drafting a Rex Burkhead. And if I'm sitting at 7-5, I am clapping my hands in joy and saying thank you, Senor Dumas, for taking him. Going on to the 8th round, we should be able to squeeze in 2 rounds here, Tom, if we do it quick enough. Let's start with Jamal Williams, Devin Funchess, Trey Burton, Kirk Cousins, Jordan Reed, Cooper Kupp, C.J. Anderson, Isaiah Crowell, Devontae Parker, Duke Johnson, Robbie Anderson, and Jacksonville defense.
Whew. As sad as it is, I'd rather have Jacksonville defense over quite a few of these guys in this area right here. But for me, clear-cut Devontae Parker. I know the Miami Dolphins just lost Jarvis Landry, got traded to the Cleveland Browns. He was a former first-round draft pick. But I have zero faith in this cat to stay healthy. He's gotten the chance before to be the guy, and I don't think he has it in him. He's soft. He looks like Tarzan, but plays like Jane. I want nothing to do with Devontae Parker.
Listen, maybe so, but, bro, a defense at 8-12?
Who do you think scores more next year, Jags or Parker?
But this is where the debate comes in. That's not the point.
It can be.
That's not the point.
Be.
The point more is the players after that and the positions that you already have filled. I mean, you're going to have to look at your team. You're going to have to look at the depth chart. But in my eyes, 2 rounds later, you can get a defense that's going to be within 20, 30 points maybe of the Jacksonville defense. And at this spot, you're going to be able to draft a wide receiver or flex spot that is going to be far superior than what you get 2 rounds later. I could be wrong. Listen,
there's like 15 receivers I'd rather have.
Right, there's a lot of debate here, but there is no way in hell. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm not taking. If you're telling me the premium defense, I will never, ever, 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 ever take a premium defense in the top 10 round.
Gun to your head, Jacksonville defense or Devontae Parker next year. You could pick either of them.
I would still pick Devontae Parker.
There's no way.
Again, it depends on my team.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to spend an 8th round pick on one either.
Right. No, I don't. Gun to my head, though, that is my choice. Let's move on here to the 9th round. The other person technically drafted 8-12, tied for, but he's in the 9, we'll call it. Bob Woods, Robbie Woods.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson, Jimmy G, Aaron Jones. Yeah, Jimmy G going in the 9th round. And compared to Carson Wentz, nevertheless. Aaron Jones, Marquise Goodwin, Andy Luck, Ty Montgomery, Matthew Stafford, Nick Chubb, Chris Carson, the Rams defense, and Allen Hurns.
Ooh, kind of tough. There's a lot of crap right here. It's I'm gonna go with Ty Montgomery. I don't want him in the 9th round. I think he'll be playing third fiddle in that offense. I think Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones both have a clear role to getting more touches and more consistent touches than him. He does have added value in PPR, obviously, but he's third fiddle on that Green Bay Packers rushing attack.
I'm not going to continue to bash defenses, even though I think the fact that 9-10 is the Rams defense.
Terrible.
Piss off. Chris Carson at 9-9. We talked about it at nauseum, the running back depth chart episode. I don't get it. There's too many questions there. He's been hurt. Sorry, not signing up for it. Tom, let's try to squeeze one last round in here so we get 10 rounds out of this. You're welcome, everyone. We've been busting our ass here at Pony Keg Sports. 10th round, Matt Ryan, George Kittle, Sterling Shepard, DJ Moore, Corey Clement, Pip Rivers, Calvin Ridley, Minnesota defense, Nelson Aguilar, Naheem Hines, Ben Roethlisberger, Chargers defense, Kelvin Benjamin.
I'm going to be going with Corey Clement. Look, he had a cute postseason, did a lot in the Super Bowl.
More, please.
He's an undrafted free agent. I really think that Jay Ajayi is going to, I think they're going to run him into the ground this year. He's in a contract season, barely gave up anything to get him. He was averaging over 6 yards per carry running behind that fantastic offensive line in Philadelphia. I think Ajayi's going to be the guy. Corey Clement, it's not feeling him right now.
I want to say Kelvin Benjamin, but someone's going to have to score touchdowns in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Someone's going to...
They're going to be so bad.
They're going to be so bad. They're going to be throwing nonstop.
Yeah.
Someone's going... And he is talented as long as he's not a fat ass.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a guy you and I both like because I wouldn't take him this early, maybe a round later. Naheem Hines.
Okay.
I feel like it's a bit of a reach to take him there in the 10th. There's some position players that I'd like more a little bit later into the 11th round. 10 rounds of Don't Touch Me, Senor Sandusky, between Tom and I. Tom, what's your... I don't know, what's your favorite? Is there a way to say this? What's your favorite Don't Touch Me? What's the guy you hate the most at 10 rounds?
That's tough.
It is tough, so I will just cut you off. Don't draft a defense in the top 10 rounds.
Yeah.
The juice is not worth the squeeze, especially in a PPR.
In this, it shows like the earliest someone took him. Someone took Jacksonville 601. Someone took the Chargers 7-7, the Rams 7-6. That's just that's too early. Like, I guess I'd rather have him over Devontae Parker. I have no faith in him whatsoever.
And I will scream it from the mountaintops, to quote Michael Scott. Look at Carson Wentz, where he's being drafted, and then look after that. Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, big names that you can get later. Those big name position players are so much more valuable earlier in the draft. I mean, that's why there's the theory of just streaming a quarterback altogether. You actually agreed with me. I believe Josh did as well. This is the deepest the quarterback position has been in the 10 years I've played fantasy football. I'm extremely confident taking a quarterback late. Tom, that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, just kind of piggyback off what you were saying. Don't take a quarterback before the 7th round. Look, I get Aaron Rodgers sexy, Deshaun Watson, that upside sexy, Russell Wilson sexy, Tom Brady, he's one of the greatest of all time. But do not draft a quarterback that early. Hit that running back, hit the wide receiver. If you get a good value at one of the tight ends in the 3rd, 4th round, one of the big 3, get one of them. But besides that, hit running back, wide receiver. Get them, fill your roster up with those guys.
Tom, how many spots on your roster can a quarterback fill in standard leagues?
1.
How many spots can a defense fill?
1.
Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends can fill multiple spots in standard, PPR, flex position leagues. Make your team be full. Give yourself some depth. Give yourself an opportunity to win, and give yourself the opportunity. Draft the Alvin Kamara of this year, not just a quarterback that you think is going to succeed who may or may not hit. Anyway, we're done preaching, Tom. Another great episode. Josh, we miss you, kind of, not really, but we are Pony Keg Sports. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at Pony Keg Sports. Give Josh a follow at Pony Keg Sports. Tom is on there at Pony_Keg_Tom. And you can always follow me at Fight Talk Tim. And don't forget to follow our sponsors at Rogue Energy.
Yep.
Give them a follow. Better than Adderall. You can't snort it, but you can drink it, and it makes you feel great. Until next time, everyone. Peace!